You found the WMIX Saturday Sports Show on AM 940 and WMIXSports.com. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. The Saturday Sports Show has been recognized by the Illinois Broadcasters Association as one of the top radio programs in the state. That means the very best mix of local sports content is right here. From the Powerhouse on Broadway, the Saturday Sports Show starts now.
And a very pleasant good morning to you from the Powerhouse on Broadway. So glad to have you with us for the Saturday Sports Show here on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Today it should be a loaded lineup as it always is, but of course, not only will we have plenty of guests and talk, we'll also have our famous WMIX Sports social media question of the week. We're working on getting that on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/WMIXSports. You can always tweet us at WMIX Sports on the Twitterverse. And, of course, I like the question today. Not that that's the most important topic of the day, but I do love our question today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to hear your answers, read your answers, and as we give our answers as well. But that's coming up a little bit later in the program. Of course, we have a loaded lineup for you again today. We'll talk with Mount Vernon Rams head basketball coach Scott Gamber. We'll talk Lady Rams basketball with Jeff Lonnon. John Krause, of course, will talk Oakville Rockets basketball. They were champions undefeated in their own tournament that finished up this past week. Alan Engelhardt of the Pinckneyville Lady Panthers. Tony Richardson, the AD at Wayne City High School. We'll talk about the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament, which gets underway today. They will play today in Wayne City. A Twitter follower of ours and a guy that's just an outstanding man is Jake Stewart. Of course, he is the head coach of the Harrisburg Lady Bulldogs. Mike Chamness, his team, not him personally, but his team, the AJ Wildcats, won the Goreville tournament this week. So a good lineup for you today. We'll talk plenty of high school basketball. We'll talk about our schedule for the coming week in terms of games that we will broadcast on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. Of course, no Mount Vernon Rams game last night. That was postponed. It will be made up on Tuesday. We'll have that game for you on WMIX-FM with video at WMIXSports.com. There were plenty of cancellations yesterday in terms of games. Looked like all of the river-to-river Ohio got games in, 2/3 of the Mississippi, 1/3 of the South 7 Conference, as well as some random games along the way. Southwestern Conference looked to be pretty well unaffected yesterday. So, we were off last night. The Woodlawn Mater Dei game, which was set to be on the AM, was postponed. No makeup announced on that. But we got the night off last night.
Nothing to do.
No.
Well, there was something to do, but nothing to do broadcasting-wise, which is rare with the number of teams that we like to cover and broadcast games for and promote throughout the season. And last night was a rarity. And, again, you can't figure what the weather's going to do because at 3:30, 4 o'clock yesterday in Mount Vernon, it was snowing. Roads were covering. It was slick. The secondary roads are starting to be hazardous. So, Mount Vernon Cokia called off well early mid-morning. Shot that down pretty quickly. And then Woodlawn Mater Dei was at 4 o'clock when Mater Dei, there was nothing going on in Breeze. And Mount Vernon, Jefferson County, there was a lot of snow, a lot of slickness. So it was deemed not to go to Mater Dei. And then, of course, some teams decided to travel last night, got games in. Others didn't. And there's a lot of teams right now that don't have a handful of games in and don't have that opportunity. And, today begins the holiday tournament season with the Conrad Allen 60th Annual. And a lot of teams may only have 2 or 3 games in heading into a tournament. I don't know how you rank a tournament when you got that going on.
Well, and it's become quite cumbersome. Saturday Sports Show, of course, is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Forgot that to stop. My apologies. But anyhow, as you take a look, it is going to be tough to gauge teams as you go for seeding in terms of holiday tournaments that are coming up. And it's been a rather tough chore. And you take a look at some teams. We'll have the call the Cestro-Valier-Waltonville Lady Devils today, but you look at their male counterparts, the Red Devils, they've only had 1 game. And, it's tough when you only can get in 1 game due to the weather. And I know that they don't go to a Thanksgiving tournament anymore down there in Cesar. But, when you rely on regular season games to get your games before the holidays and then Mom Nature strikes, it's going to be tough.
And it's going to be hard because, like the Goreville tournament last week seemed like it took 2 or 3 weeks to get in, but they got it in. They managed to get games in. You look at the Oakville tournament, had to go back to a Monday this past week, and you start getting in. And if you look at the projected almanac/weather people around the area in Metro St. Louis about what's coming around, it's going to be a decently long winter. Now, as far as a basketball coach goes, if you're, we'll talk about 2 teams. Galatia the other night, the Lady Bearcats, 2 games in 6 weeks since they start practice. Cesar-Valier is a month into their season, the boys, and they've had 1 game. Had one canceled last night. Chester didn't want to drive over. So you don't know your team. You know your team because you've been with them every day and you practiced, and they're tired of practice. Got to be, but yet you haven't played but one game. It's got to be a tough situation, and I think a lot of coaches are dealing with not only lack of games, but the weather, the roads, school policies, trying to get things in. I think, like the Conrad Allen tournament, dodged a major bullet today. The weather was not as bad as predicted.
Exactly, and I think a lot of teams are thankful for that. I know the teams that were able to play last night are thankful they got their games in. From your WMIXSports.com scoreboard, of course, in the South 7 last night, Centralia beat Marion 56-42. And then I had to go down.
I've got it.
Thank goodness. You can do it.
Where are we doing it?
Yeah, because I don't know.
How about wrestling? I'll start off with wrestling.
That'd be great.
Vinton beat Tolono Unity last night 39-30, and Frankfort beat Tolono Unity 48-36. That was at Benton High School last night. Non-conference, Vincennes, Indiana beat Mount Carmel 78-73 in double overtime. Madison over Berkeley 84-28. Greenville beat Staunton 55-42. National Trail, St. Anthony over to St. Elmo Brownstown Co-op 48-29. Altamont beat South Central 70-40. River to River, Carterville over DuQuoin 58-29. Pinckneyville over Sparta 68-53. In the Ohio, Benton beat Heron. Pretty good game for the Rangers last night. Played very well, 52-33. Massac beat Murphy on the road, 62-48. And Frankfort gave it an effort, but lost on the road at Harrisburg, 63-56. And Mississippi Valley, an opponent for the Rams next Saturday night. Waterloo beat Triad, 61-50. And the Black Diamonds, ZR beat Alvarado, 63-45. Hamilton County beat Vienna at home, 45-39. And one more conference, Southwestern, Belleville East beat Eastside 48-38. Edwardsville held off West in overtime 53-45, and O'Fallon beat Collinsville 48-45.
There you go. Let's look at your scores. You can find them at WMIXSports.com every night that there's local action. That's your nightly scoreboard at WMIXSports.com. And, of course, as we talk about our broadcast schedule today, it'll be one of many times that we discuss it. We'll have the call of the SVW Lady Devils and McLeansboro Lady Foxes. 1 o'clock JV start at Sesquiveldaire High School. That'll be on AM 940, audio at WMIXSports.com. And then tonight, after a 6:15 JV contest, we'll have the Woodlawn Lady Cardinals and Carmi White County Lady Bulldogs on WMIX FM and WMIXSports.com. So a busy doubleheader today. Hopefully the scheduling will work out nicely. We'll leave one and just be able to head right to the other, maybe grab a bite to eat or something like that. But it should be a great day of basketball for the showcase.
It should be. Two very good games. I think last year it was a triple overtime game at Hamilton County. Sesquiveldaire Waltonville did defeat Hamilton County last year in a triple overtime game on the road. And then Carmi Woodlawn, very interested to see Carmi up and coming and playing well. And then, of course, Woodlawn at home the other night. We did their game. We're going to get a lot of girls basketball in over the next few days. 2 today. On Monday, Wayne City's at SVW. We'll have that game. On Tuesday, on the AM side, Lady Rams at Carbondale. And then on Thursday, SVW at ZRC. So a lot of girls basketball coming up right here on WMIX and WMIXSports.com. And so we try to get all these teams and try to get them as much broadcast and promote the schools and players just as much as possible. And that's one of those things there where we like to do things.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to reprint that schedule, by the way. Mess that up.
Well, at Mother Nature, your schedule's,
Yeah, that one's out of date, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Turns out Mom Nature came in, dumped some snow a couple of times, and has wreaked havoc with our broadcast schedule. We'll get it updated on WMIXSports.com as well, so you can know where we are going and when we are going there. Of course, it'll be a busy week this coming week as well, even with a possible night off, depending upon rescheduling. Monday night, we'll have a showcase game. Tuesday night, we'll have one on each side of the dial. Wednesday night, possibly off. Thursday night, a game on the FM. Friday night, both sides of the dial. And then Saturday, we'll have a game as well. You can find our schedule at WMIXSports.com. We're going to take a break. We'll talk Mount Vernon Rams basketball with undefeated head coach Scott Gamber. It's coming up after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
America is a nation on wheels. Everyone has at least one automobile. We use them for shopping, work, everything we do. But they can be a threat. Some accidents can't be prevented. Your professional Pekin Insurance Agency, Page Insurance on Crown View in Mount Vernon, can help protect you from a large financial loss when an accident happens. Call Page Insurance today at 242-7000 about low-cost auto insurance from Pekin Insurance. Ask them about the many money-saving discounts that are available. Depend on your hometown professionals. Pekin Insurance.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a better value than the Chevy Impala. We actually have customers that come in that are comparing that car to BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and it's blowing them away. You really need to come in and take the new Impala for a test drive. You know, the Impala's been a great seller, our number one selling car for many years, and I see that continuing into the future with the new 2014.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
There you go. Scott Gamber, head coach of the Mount Vernon Rams. They are 6-0. Scott, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys?
You know what, doing pretty good. Going a little stir-crazy, however. Only one Rams basketball game over the course of 16 days until we go to Cahokia on Tuesday night. Are you going as nuts as I am?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a frustrating time period with, you know, you get geared up for a game and you go through the whole week expecting it, and then, especially in this case, because, you know, last week I think everybody had a decent idea that the game might be in jeopardy, but I was fully anticipating the play until I was given word Friday that we were canceling.
11 days off from the game against Soldan is out of St. Louis at Heron to the game on Tuesday night against Mascoutah. A good win on the road. Early on, maybe the first 2 or 3 minutes, kind of shaking the cobwebs out, but I thought your team mentally had a good game, prepared and ready to go in that one on Tuesday.
Yeah, there was good things in that one. There were things that are concerns in that game. I was really proud of the way our guys played on the offensive end. I was really glad that in a game where several guys were on the bench with foul trouble, we got a lot of guys in there, and they contributed big minutes for us. And it was, I think, in that standpoint, it was really good for us to get a lot of different guys playing, show that we could win when, you know, Shikari should have been, you know, averaging over 20 a game. He sat basically the entire game with foul trouble, and Braden sat the whole first half with foul trouble, and Gilwan sat a long time with foul trouble, and to still be able to win, the concerns are, you know, we gave up 67 points, and in the third quarter when our offense really got rolling, and to start the fourth quarter when our offense was rolling, we couldn't get any stops to get any distance, and that was a concern.
When you look at the other night and you got that distance, and I think with Mascoutah at home, a team, obviously the record's not very shining, but when you're playing them at home, or I should say in the Mount Vernon's case, on the road, in their place, had a couple players with hot hands, you knew they were going to come back into this one, and down the stretch they made their runs several times, but your guys did enough, making free throws, taking care of the ball, halfway decent in the fourth quarter to get the win, and that's a good win in that environment.
Yeah, and you know, I think they'll get a little better. The Pettigrew kid, who had, I think, 11 against us, that was his first game of the year. The Dupree kid had only played, that was only his maybe third game of the year. And then when Parks plays like he did Tuesday night, I mean, that makes him so much better. We knew Parks was a really good player. I don't know if we realized that he could do what he did against us. I mean, he really hurt us from inside and out. But it was nice. At the same time, I said that this year a little bit with the conflict. It's nice that, you know, last year when things like that happen, we probably get beat. It was nice this year to where, even though we struggled, we still made enough plays to be able to come out on top.
Well, and anytime you make enough plays, come out on top. I feel like a win like that when you have a lead growing towards the 20s early in the second half, and then it dwindles, but you're able to come back and power back and make free throws to grab the win. I feel like that there's something to be said about your team and their poise and their confidence level going into the latter part of the game and able to pull away like that and still get the win.
Yeah, I do too. When you can still win, I think you can learn a lot from it. I think it helps you with, if you lose a game like that, that's a completely different story. But I do think that there's a lot to gain from that situation.
Well, and a lot to be gained, of course. You gain 2 more days or 3 more days, however long, to prepare for Cahokia now, as last night's game postponed until Tuesday. I know it cuts down on your prep time for Marion, but thankfully a team that you've already played. Are you happier to have a few more days to prepare for Cahokia, a tough team you're going to have to face on the road?
I mean, I wish we would have played last night, just because I think we were ready. But everything was geared for that game. We felt like we were prepared. But now, we regrouped last night, and what we've done, we're still working for Cahokia, but we're mixing in Marion stuff. We worked on a lot of their stuff last night as well, and we're going to kind of just do both right now and really work on our stuff. And it is good. The positives, like you said, that at least we've played Marion once. At least we've watched them play 5 times. So that part is a positive. If we were playing, a Carbondale or a Centralia that we hadn't seen on a Friday night, it would make it that much more difficult. But at least there is some familiarity there. And for the coaches, it's probably not a good thing, but I think for the players, they probably love the fact that they're going to have 3 games in a short period of time, especially with missing some. So next week's going to be a busy week, but hopefully everything will work out all right.
Well, and you talk about that busy week. 3 games next week, Tuesday at Cahokia, Friday at home. The only game at Shagnon Gymnasium now due to last week's snow out until 2014. And then you have Saturday before the last game before Christmas when you head to Waterloo to take on C.J. Cruiser's team. So really it's a busy week next week. Not a lot of time to prepare for the other teams, but all in all, a very key week for the Rams heading into the new Effingham T-Town Holiday Tournament.
It really is. Next week's got a ton of importance in it with the 2 conference games and with a road game at Waterloo. And a Waterloo team that, again, their record is just so-so. But you look at their scores. I mean, they were leading Edwardsville at the half before ended up getting beat by 10. They got beat, 2 to Mater Dei. They got beat just a couple points to Highlands. They beat Triad last night, and so in CJ, it's a style of play that that they do it well. They've got a lot of kids back from last year, and then we know everything Marion's got and how much they're really going to be gunning for us after we had gotten them earlier, and Cahokia is just a load on Tuesday night, and I'm hoping that the playing Tuesday night will help us Friday and Saturday, just kind of with their speed, their athleticism, the things that they're going to make us, do it. I think it can only help. No matter what happens, I think getting to play against that type of athletes can only help your team.
Well, and of course, no secret that there's a nice home court advantage at Shagnon Gymnasium. Do you feel a little bit more confident going into the holidays, knowing your team gets at least 1 game in there, or at least a 1-game tune-up at home before heading on to Waterloo and then that tough tournament coming up at the holidays?
Yeah, I know we're really excited to be playing at home. It's pretty rare to only have 1 home game before Christmas break, and so our kids are excited about it. It's hopefully, I always worry about the crowd that close to Christmas, just because there's so many different, Christmas parties and all kinds of that things, and so I hope we can get a good crowd there. And our kids love playing at home. It's a great atmosphere, and we've talked about it a lot with our conference. The importance of being able to win at home is magnified so much this year with how good our league is. And, you've got to take care of business when you're at home.
That you certainly do. And, of course, that brings us to our final question, the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. Mega Millions was over $550 million last night, so we want to know, if you won that huge $550 million jackpot, what would you do with the money?
I would do a lot of traveling, and that'd be tough to fathom.
Well, if you won, does that mean Tom Portner would become interim head coach of Mount Vernon Rams basketball, or would you continue?
No, I don't know about that. I really enjoy the coaching part of it. There might be some substitute teachers needed for a while.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
Your pension that is getting taken away would be covered at $550 million, I believe.
I think so. I think that would be less of a worry.
Well, if you need a financial planner, I'm always open for advice. But, Scott, we wish you the best of luck this coming week. 3 games, 3 tough games. Good luck to Rams basketball. We'll see you Tuesday.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
That's Scott Gamber, head coach of the undefeated Mount Vernon Rams. 6-0 on the year. They tried for number 7 on Tuesday night at Cahokia. It was a makeup from last night. That game will be on the FM 94.1 after the 6:15 JV, or watch at WMIXsports.com. We'll take a break, come back with Jeff Lonan, head coach of the 5-2 Lady Rams. They are 2-0 in the South 7 Conference. It's all coming up after the break. Saturday Sports Show cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Imagine this. You're driving down the road. It's dark as can be outside. Thank goodness you just had that left headlight bulb replaced. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see a thing. Now, close your eyes. Okay, don't close your eyes. You're supposed to be driving. Imagine noticing a slight twinkle off to the left, just above the ditch. What is that, you think to yourself? All of a sudden, whap! You've just encountered your first deer hit. The left side of your vehicle is beat up pretty bad. The next thing I want you to imagine is very simple. Picking up your phone and dialing 1-888-LANDERS to set up your repair. Deer claims are common, and usually a very simple process, which fall under comprehensive coverage. This is Chase Landers, asking you to allow Landers to be your collision repair shop of choice. Whether it be a deer hit, fender bender, or the regular, uh-oh, sorry mom, Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS, that's 1-888-LANDERS.
Complete. That's the Orthopedic Center of Southern Illinois, with a full sports medicine clinic, state-of-the-art MRI, a spine care team that focuses on pain management, arthroscopy specialists offering total joint replacement, hand surgery, and complete rehabilitation services. Doctors Chow, Hool, Ahn, Kowalski, Freehill, and Smith stand ready to serve you today, with offices in Mount Vernon and Centralia and satellite offices in Benton and Nashville. Find out more online at orthocenter-si.com.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. Now is a great time to move your account to Community First Bank. With our new One account offering the highest interest rate in the market, free checking, and CD specials delivered by people you know and trust, why would you not bank with the market leader in Jefferson County? We offer 5 locations with 7 ATMs and have been serving the Jefferson County market since 1906. Stop in and see why our bank is the fastest growing bank in Jefferson County. Community First Bank. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
It's the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX Mount Vernon, cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Jeff Lonan of the Mount Vernon Lady Rams joins us next. His team rolling in the South 7 Conference. They are 3-0 in the conference with wins over Cahokia, Centralia, and Marion. They are 5-2 overall. Jeff Lonan, good morning.
How you doing, guys?
You know, pretty good. Can't fathom whatsoever I am doing as well as you are right now, sitting at 3-0 in the South 7 Conference, but most importantly, you get a tough win on the road on Tuesday night against the Centralia Annies. Not only that, come back home on Thursday, get a big win over Marion. You have to be pretty pleased right now with how your team is performing.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, we've gotten off to a really good start, and we're healthy. I think that's the main thing too. Is we always fear injury with our group. And we've managed to be pretty healthy. We haven't been sick. Usually we'll get hit with a flu bug about this time of year, knock on wood. Everybody seems fairly happy, and the group is, really playing really nice together, and they seem to all, be gelling, and there don't seem to be any problems. So everything's pretty peaceful on Lady Ram front right now, and we're winning some games too. So I think we had a good week. We had 2 conference wins, and the next one will be a big one though, because when we go to Carbondale on Tuesday, that's going to be certainly our stiffest test in the conference so far.
Talk to our listeners a little bit. A lot of schools or teams are having trouble avoiding Mother Nature and canceling games. How are you on your schedule as far as getting games in as you roll into last week for the holidays?
We had one cancellation there with Effingham St. Anthony, and then we rescheduled that one for January 7th. So really, we just had that one change. But what I feel bad about is our freshmen. Our freshman team, and the boys are on the same side. The boys freshmen have played 1 freshman game, and the girls have played 2. So between our 2 programs, we've got 3 total freshman games in, and we're approaching Christmas here pretty fast. That's the one that really kind of bothers you a little bit, because those kids, they're practicing like everybody else, and they're just not getting to play. And we've lost the national tournament now this morning. Our freshmen were supposed to go over there and play Freeburg, and they've kind of lost that now. And hopefully we'll get that rescheduled. But the weather's been a little pain in the butt. There's no question about it. I mean, everybody's in the same boat, so it just is what it is, and we got to deal with it and go on to the next day.
Well, and of course, you have a busy. Actually, not as busy. I thought. I apologize. But you have a big game on the road coming up on Tuesday at Carbondale before heading into the Mascoutah tournament, of course, around the holidays, and then a nice little layoff until January 7th whenever you go back to Effingham St. Anthony to try to get that game in. So all in all, a pretty light load going into the holidays, but a very, very important matchup with the Terriers on Tuesday at CCHS.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a really pivotal game, and I think that's a game that in the end, that when we get done playing all 10 of these conference games, that game could be a game changer for us in terms of where we finish in the conference. On the road at their gymnasium has been traditionally very difficult, as they all are. I've always thought that the 2 hardest places to go, now listen, they're all hard, don't get me wrong, there's no easy ones, but I thought if I had to pick 2 places I didn't want to go play a basketball game, it would be Centralia and Carbondale, those 2 gymnasiums. I just, especially in our particular situation with the girls program, those are tough places traditionally that we have gone and not had a tremendous amount of success at. Now, we won down there last year, and that was a big one. And we're going to have to go again and do it again. But I think if we could, get a win in that game and get us to 4-0, we're looking at, the only team left we haven't played now is All Top. And, then you're just rerunning your schedule again at opposite locations, and those are teams that you've beaten, and you have kind of a confidence factor that's positive. You have positive vibes, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in the second part of your schedule if you can run the first half. So, and the mental game is so important with these kids. If they believe they can win, it just becomes a lot easier for them to compete, So this Carbondale game is going to be very important in terms of their confidence and how they feel about themselves and whether they believe they can win the second time around, which will be important to win in the conference.
I look back at your games, this past week. You go to Centralia, you get a big win. You have Marion coming in winless Thursday night. Would have been very easy for your team kind of overlook Marion with Carbondale coming behind that. Thought your team did a very good job mentally being ready for that game on Thursday night.
Yeah, I thought they, we talk about that a lot, about having a big kind of a big win on Tuesday night against a team that we've, that there was a little bit of scuttle made about us not winning over there since 2007, and then us doing it, and all that, but you worry about little stuff like that, when you come back 2 days later and have to play, you worry about your kids being focused, and they're going to be thinking about, the previous game and things of that nature, but they really did fine. I mean, Marion came out to play zone, and that's something that, can be feast or famine for any offensive team, and our kids hit some shots, and they tried to take our post player away, and she still scored 18 points, so that made me feel good. So, yes, that was a big win, and I will say this: I think Mary is improving. I think he's got them going in the right direction. I think I see things from them, now that I didn't see in the past as far as positive things. So, Marion's just rebuilding, and I think they did a nice job against us. So, it's just a good week anytime you can get 2 conference wins.
Of course, that brings us to our final question, the WMIX Sports social media question of the week. And the Mega Millions jackpot was over $550 million, which leads us to ask, what would you do if you won a jackpot such as that?
I can't even fathom how much money that is, $550 million. Well, I don't know if I'd do a whole lot different. I'd probably take a little more exotic vacations. Maybe in the summertime, maybe I'd buy a little bit bigger camper. Maybe I'd help those people on finding Bigfoot. Find Bigfoot. I don't know. They're always talking about needing those motion sensor cameras.
Yeah.
About that. But maybe I'd donate about 100 cameras to the Finding Bigfoot crew.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean it's a waste of money, but they'd be grateful.
Oh, I know they would. I would be if we could see one, really.
Oh, man. Of course, you have Carbondale on.
That is a hunk of money, though. Man, yeah. I can't even imagine that.
That is taxes. That's a lot of money. Of course, you're going to lose a great chunk of that to Uncle Sam.
That's a little more money than we all make, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it is. Of course, Lana, you have Carbondale Tuesday. We'll see you there.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Jeff Lonan, head coach of Lady Rams basketball, 3-0 in the South 7 Conference, 5-2 overall. They have Carbondale on Tuesday. That game will be on AM 940, audio online at WMIXsports.com. We'll take a break, come back, and we'll talk with John Krause. He is the head coach of the Oakville Rockets. They lost their game last night, but able to go 3-0 in the Oakville post-Thanksgiving tournament, take home another tournament championship this past Monday night. We'll talk about that after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
Farming is critical to the continued growth of Southern Illinois, and I couldn't be more thankful for the service of the agriculture industry. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ford dealer at Ford Square, Mount Vernon. We want to salute Farm Bureau members with a special incentive on remaining new 2013 Ford F-150s. If you are a Farm Bureau member, trade in a 1995 or newer Ford Ranger, you can purchase a new 2013 Ford F-150 two-wheel drive for only $18,000 plus tax, title, and destination. All you have to do is finance through Ford Motor Credit. Wow! We can't thank farmers enough for their dedication, but we can offer everyone in the Farm Bureau a great, honest deal on America's #1 truck. Come see one of our sales associates to get the best deal on the heavyweight truck champion at Ford Square, Mount Vernon, 1501 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or shop us online at fordsquare.com and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Chris Hugo with Danny Zerwinski. Jeff Crow is with us as well. Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
There you go. So glad to have you back with us. Follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Very glad to have our next guest. He is the head coach of the Oakville Rockets. They won the Oakville post-Thanksgiving tournament on Monday night with a victory over the Woodlawn Cardinals. Coach Krause, good morning.
Morning, how are you?
You know what, pretty good. Have to imagine that starting 3-0 and winning your own tournament, of course, on your home floor at the arena, exactly the start you wanted to your season. You got a big game in the championship, of course, out of Noah Frederking, who had 31 points. Obviously a great start for the Rockets.
Yeah, it was, anytime you can beat quality program, a quality team like Woodlawn this early in the season is great for our kids. We were pretty excited, and Noah had a great game. For a young kid, and probably a second high school game he's ever played in. Shot the ball really well and got off to a good start. And they also had a good performance out of their Owens boy, who's a sophomore, I believe it is. And so it was a great game. It's a good early season win for our kids for sure.
Well, when you're bringing along a freshman in a tradition-rich program like Oakville, what's the book? What do you use to try to bring him along? Because, this kid's 14, 15 years old out here going at it. Yeah, and it's very tough to bring a freshman along. What kind of book do you play by to kind of ease him in so he's successful most of the time rather than not successful?
Well, there's such a fine line, there with that. And years ago, even back when I played or I started coaching, really you didn't even think about freshmen playing varsity basketball at that point in time. I think the game has evolved so much where those young kids, somebody like Noah or they play so much basketball, whether it's AAU basketball in the summer and those type of things, that their skills and their development has been brought along quickly. And so now it's that period of adjustment has been a lot quicker and easier for them to do. And so now, and then I think this, us being such a small school has impacted that a little bit too, having to try to get those kids maybe play when they're not ready based on the fact that we may not have as many kids come out as a bigger school. And some kids adapt to it pretty quick. Jacob Brumar is a senior for us this year. He's been playing since he's a freshman, and like I said, I've probably had 3 or 4 kids now that I can think of off the top of my head that have started as freshmen for me. And when I was in school, and even when I first started coaching, like I said, it was never thought of. You played freshman basketball games in JV, and you never really thought of playing freshman basketball or varsity basketball as a freshman. But it's something that I think is changing. And like I said, I think the AU has a lot to do with that. I think those kids play so much more basketball now at a young age and play against high quality competition, and so they're ready to play.
One of the things too is when everybody's been a freshman, everybody's been there and stuff, is when the younger players come in, it's very difficult for that meshing of younger player going with older players, veterans, guys who have been there that might seem a little intimidated or worried about their spot. It seems that your older guys here on your team this year, Brommeyer being one of them that stand out for me, Reese as well, that they've kind of accepted him in and they let him do his thing instead of saying, hey, you're a freshman, you wait your turn. They've kind of accepted him for the success of the program and the team.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I think you have to have a quality group of older kids, seniors that really have a good grasp of and an understanding of what's going on, and that those kids, hey, we need this kid to help us, no question about it. He can help our kids, and they have to also be patient. I think that's something we've talked about actually with our kids is, you're going to have to be patient with. We started a freshman and 2 sophomores. And, we've talked to our guys, our older guys, and say, you have to be patient with these kids. Try to think back when you were a freshman, how things were, how difficult it is to play at that level, right away. And especially this early in the season. And, trying to help those guys to understand that you have to be patient with these kids and let them develop. And it might be January or February before they grasp everything that we're trying to do defensively in particular. And so, I think it takes a good group of kids and kids that understand the basketball game and understand the big picture to do that. And we've been very fortunate that we've had, kids that don't get jealous and kids that understand that, hey, we need these kids to help us, and this is best for our team. This is how we're going to get W's, and this is how we're going to be successful. And that's a big key. That's been a big key for us, is that our kids have adapted to that very well and have really helped our kids along.
Tough schedule. Last night you lose Trico at home, but then next week you go at Greenville and then host Steelville before that very tough Mater Dei tournament. Mater Dei to me is kind of one of those tournaments that doesn't get a lot of pub, at least south of Mount Vernon, but one of the toughest holiday tournaments around up there as far as the competition goes.
Well, absolutely. I think I think if I had to somebody asked me the question that you just asked me, I would tell them that, it's probably one of the most difficult, Christmas tournaments around. I mean, there can't be anything more difficult than what we had a seeding meeting on Wednesday night. And truthfully, of all the coaches that were there, of the schools that are involved, we didn't know how to seed it. I mean, we're 4-0, undefeated. We feel like we got a nice team, and we got seeded 10th out of 10 teams. And so, we're looking at it, and we're looking at playing Nashville and Mater Dei the very first day of that tournament. And so when you're playing, maybe the number one team in the state, preseason ranking, and Mater Dei, who's got, a really good team this year, and just lost, I think, Althoff by 3 or 4 points. Althoff's a really good 3A school. So, and then we're going to play Edgewater, Florida, out of Florida, who's got 3,000 kids. They got Division I 6'5", Division I point guard. That's our third game. So, we're looking at, some really, really stiff competition in just a 2-day period. And so, I think that tournament is, especially this year, is wide open. I think it can be won by just about anybody. I think Highland was 4-1, I believe, in coming into this thing, and they got seeded 8th out of 10 teams. So it's going to be a difficult week. 5 games in 4 days. Probably one of the most difficult grinds as far as the week goes in our season, for sure.
Final question for you, as we know you're busy, got stuff going on, is our social media question week, and this week's question for you is, if you were to win the Mega Millions, which is now over $550 million, what would you do?
Probably would pay somebody to shovel my snow this morning. No, I don't know what I'd do. If I won the Mega Millions, I would continue to coach, I think, for sure. But I think I might not work a whole lot. I'd probably try to start my own business of some sort. What that would be, I don't know. But I think I'd continue to coach, for sure. But I'd probably maybe move somewhere warmer.
Would you donate any to that junior high girls basketball coach to help him along, or not? Just let him fester a little bit.
Well, I'd probably, I might give him, $50 or so. Maybe he could buy some, lunch or something for him for a couple of days to try to help him out. But there's not a whole lot you can do to help him. So
no.
I'd probably, I don't know. I'd maybe buy him some donuts or something Monday morning.
Oh, man. Coach, I know you're busy. Thank you for taking the time to join us here on the Saturday Sports Show. We look forward to catching up with you again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's John Krause, head coach, athletic director as well, Oakville High School, head boys basketball coach. Rockets, of course, are 4-0 and have lost their game to weather last night. Postponed, I guess, would be a better term for that. But all in all, off to a nice start. Another team off to a good start. Pinckneyville Lady Panthers. We'll talk with Coach Englehart after the break here on the Saturday Sports Show, cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what health care should be.
Back after these.
I'm meteorologist John Fierk. We're looking at your next rad weather. See snow pull away during the morning hours of Saturday. Mostly cloudy to high 36. Partly cloudy, cold tonight, down to 19. Tomorrow, quite cold, times of clouds and sunshine, high just 25. A little bit milder for Monday. Some sunshine at the 36. A little bit better still Tuesday with some sun up to 41. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Are you interested in a career in the culinary arts but can never afford the high cost of cooking school? Rend Lake College has a low-cost recipe for success. For as little as $5,500 per year, you can get a quality culinary arts education in your own backyard. That even includes books, tuition, class fees, and supplies. Learn to master domestic fare, pastry, and foreign cuisine in Ina, Illinois. Save thousands on a culinary arts education at Rend Lake College. For more information, log on to rlc.edu/culinary arts.
Mount Vernon is home to many wonderful people and things, and that includes quality cardiac care from Dr. Ruzaik Ibrahim. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Ibrahim's training and scientific accomplishments have earned his designation as a Fellow of the American College of Cardiology. His services range from preventative care to the treatment of advanced heart conditions. For an appointment with Dr. Ibrahim at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 241-9071 or visit in person at 4113 South Water Tower, Mount Vernon.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. Chris Shuko with Danny Zerwinski alongside. It's presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what healthcare should be.
You betcha. Our next guest is head coach of the Pinckneyville Lady Panthers. He is Alan Engelhart. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's glad to have you back. It's been since baseball season, of course. You've changed capacities in the spring since then, but you had a nice start to your season at the Lady Foxes tournament, going 4-0, losing only to the tournament champion Foxes. Nice start to your season. I know it was a rough one this past week against the Benton Ranger Reds, but still a great start for the Lady Panthers.
Right. We're you're always battling the early season things that everybody faces, a little bit of inconsistency, but they've been pretty pleased with our effort and how that we've come out and worked. And 6-2 is a good jumping off point for us, definitely.
You get start off with that big week. You get a win against DuQuoin, obviously, and then Benton, of course, and today against Carlisle. It's a pretty nice little stretch of games to test your team after that Hamilton County tournament to begin the year.
Right. Well, the Benton was supposed to be last week, and so it changed some things up. Having them come in on Thursday this week, so it became a full slate all of a sudden. But a little different set of what you're going to see. We saw a couple of man-to-man teams, and then Carlisle is just giant today. So we're going to see a little bit of zone, I think, because they try so many big kids out there.
Talk about some of the kids that you've been relying on and will rely on this season for Lady Panthers basketball.
Well, everything we do, and I think most teams who scout us realize this. Everything we do kind of starts with Caitlin Mayer. She averages around 16 points a game and has been all South for the last couple of years, and really has a good all around game. Not just scoring the basketball, but she seems to be in the right place most all the time. And then she's joined by another senior, Alyssa Hirsch, who we've actually brought off the bench this season, but she's our second leading scorer. But it just fits better rotating her in that way. And so, we kind of have a mix where you start with your seniors, and then we start a couple juniors. Keelan Stein in the post for us, who's got some good touch around the rim, and Megan Bagley has been the biggest pleasant surprise for us, because we were worried we were going to have to play Caitlin at the one coming into the season, and Megan's been able to kind of handle that role, and that's definitely been a big help for us, so Caitlin can be more on an off guard.
One of the things I noticed on your schedule, obviously you've got home games and stuff, and you're going to play in the Heron tournament here in a few weeks. One of the things you're doing today, you play Carlisle at home in the afternoon today. Next week you play Oakville at home in the afternoon also too. I really like the idea of that going on, because that means the fans can get to your games as well as other games at night, get a little doubleheader of basketball in.
Right, and it's good for the kids because you can get people out to see the game, but you can also, the kids want to go watch the boys play too. So it's good on both streets for them. Plus, when we're playing some of these, we have Breeze Central on a Saturday later in the year. When we're playing some of these Metro East teams where we have to travel a little bit more, it's nice to have a little extra time on those travel days on Saturdays.
Big game today. Of course, you go into the Heron Holiday Tournament. Looking at that's a nice little tournament that Heron's put together. You jump in it and have been in it for a while. Really like what's going on. Talk about what's your thoughts on that heading into that one in a couple of weeks.
Well, we just got the pools yesterday, and I think it's always a tough stretch there, right after Christmas coming back and playing, and I know we're in the pool with Cesar, who's been excellent this year, and they really will get out and guard you, and that'll be a challenge. And then Murfreesboro is much improved on in our pool, and then I guess they had a team drop. I think Pope County was in it last year and dropped, and so we've got Heron too in our pool as well. And then the other side with Heron and Vienna, who obviously Heron's done well at their own tournament. Vienna's done well, and then I think they brought in Christ our Rock Lutheran this year and DuQuoin over there. So yeah, it's one of those things you better play good basketball for 4 days, or else you're gonna head home with your tail tucked.
We know you got shoot around at 9, getting ready for Carlisle this afternoon at home. So we're going to get down to our social media question of the week. You're a veteran of this. We could ask you anything. This week's question is: if Alan Engelhart were to win the Mega Millions of over $550 million next week, what would he do with it?
Ooh, let's see. If I won the Mega Millions, shoot, I don't know. I guess just pay off bills. I kind of like where my life is right now. I just pay off some bills and keep doing what I'm doing.
That's all right.
It's fine. Living the dream is a good thing as well.
Yep.
You just have more money to do it. Coach, thank you for taking the time to join us. Like Danny said, we know you have the shoot around at 9, but appreciate you for taking the time out for us here on WMIX.
I appreciate you guys having us on and everything you do to promote the kids.
Well, thank you very much. Alan Engelhardt, of course, of the Pinckneyville Lady Panthers, and he'll have more time with the Lady Panthers coming up this spring, as we'll talk to him then as well as he takes over the softball program, coming over from the baseball side. So good for him and a great program. He had a great baseball program there as well, so just an all-around good guy. Fitting that this is the one time that we've had him on that he hasn't had to answer a music question. Oddly enough, as we went the Mega Millions jackpot route this week. We'll talk about our answers after the break. You can check out local scores on WMIXsports.com, as well as find video highlights and archive broadcasts. I suppose that's important as well. We're on Facebook and Twitter. Find us there. This is a Saturday Sports Show on WMIX Mount Vernon, cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
There's a good reason why Second Chance Auto has been in business for 33 years. They believe in doing business the right way, with honest deals. It's the only way they know. And thanks to Second Chance Auto, you don't have to head out of town to get financing. They offer bank rate financing to everyone. Yes, everyone. You'll find a great selection of quality vehicles with 3-month or 3,000-mile warranties. Come see why they've been successful for 33 years at Second Chance Auto. Route 142 East in Mount Vernon. Call 244-4582.
If you can't pick us up where you live, move. This is WMIX, Mount Vernon, Marion, another Withers broadcasting station.
When you hear the warm, inviting sound of a crackling fire, what comes to mind? A rustic campground? A cozy cabin? How about the new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center? Our new family lounges feature a lot of comforts you might not expect. Things like this. No, that's not a babbling brook or serene stream out in the countryside. It's a 2-story waterfall located right here at Good Samaritan. And that's not the only way we're raising the bar for patient comfort. We've added lush healing gardens, as well as wall after wall of beautiful artwork, all designed to create the perfect healing atmosphere. And if all this sounds like music to your ears, we encourage you to check us out. Chances are, we're not too far from where you are right now.
The new Good Samaritan Regional Health Center. Raising a hospital, raising the bar.
Hi, this is Joe David Cummins, President of Community First Bank. By now you have heard about our new One Checking product. The new One Account is a high interest earning, free checking account designed for everyone. Unlike other banks that pay interest on higher balance, this account pays interest on all balances. From high schoolers to Warren Buffett, One will work for you. You can talk to one of us at 244-3000 and learn about the details. One, exclusively at Community First Bank. You will be one happy customer. Member FDIC.
And we welcome you back, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. Whoops. Presented by Crossroads Community Hospital.
It happens.
No, not that. I meant when I was doing bumps, I didn't really fade them out. So they just kind of stop abruptly. Well, you know, there's always that. But here we are past the top of the hour. We're cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We'll talk the 60th annual Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament coming up in just a moment with Tony Richardson, the athletic director at Wayne City High School. They actually have a change in their schedule for today that was announced earlier in the week. But they will play the games as scheduled. They're getting started actually at 10 o'clock. With the first game. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But we have our WMIX Sports social media question, and it is, with the Mega Millions jackpot escalating past the $550 million mark, which you won't see all of that money. Uncle Sam will get a nice heaping helping. What would you do with it? In D.C., what would you do with $550 million?
Well,
what you get of it anyway. What would you do if you won?
Well, that's the next question. What do you get out of it? What's the percentage of tax
I'm
you
guessing
lose?
you probably get about half if you're lucky.
I'm going to say you probably get, what, $225?
But do you get more if you take the annuity?
If you take it in one lump sum, you lose a whole ton of money.
Yeah, and then you get
but
taxed on top
of that. But if you get the annuity, then you don't have to pay as much.
I
And
figure
how
I'm
that
a
goes-
younger guy. I'm 30. Hopefully live to see 50 or later. That'd work too. I'd take the annuity.
I'd take the annuity.
Because I'd blow it all.
Because then I could, if the annuity says I'll just write it off somebody else. I mean, that's just take it and get it over
I'd
with.
find a tax shelter.
Because, I mean, here's the thing. The key thing to this is if if somebody wins this, you have to live within your means. You can't be ignorant and buy 6 cars,
Exactly.
4 houses, and take 6,000 trips.
Exactly.
If you live within your means.
Which you could live within pretty extravagant means.
Well,
for that
right
kind of
around
money.
here you could. And I'm not saying, you build you a decent house, not some kind of expansive acreage.
No.
Whatever.
You need to have
a
something
new
you can
car,
still dump off if you need to sell it.
Then, whatever. Then you could take a trip once a year somewhere. Or
Sure.
you could be crazy one year and go to all 30 Major League ballparks. Or something, you could do some
Sure.
silly stuff, but you can't do it all the time.
Well, if you invest it properly in stable investments with decent returns, I mean, not only you could do 1 year to the 30 Major League parks, you could go to all the NHL facilities 1 year, NHL/NBA, maybe in a year, because you're going to overlap a lot with that. Do all the NFL stadiums in a year.
Yeah, there's no
Actually, you
doubt.
can't do all the NFL stadiums in a year. So that's a
for me, if you're asking me personally, I would say live within my means, but I would also, I'd have a decent house for the rest of the time, a decent car, get that done, and then there'd be golfing every day. There would be Kentucky basketball games wherever I wanted to go. There's things to do.
I would donate to have a building named after me. Not first, middle initial type thing, just the last name. The Hugo whatever.
You're going to have a building named after you?
Yeah. But it has to be some type of it's not going to be a school or business or something like that. It has to be something totally random and off the wall, like a Chick-fil-A or something. No. I will buy a Chick-fil-A and put it in my house. That is what I will do. I will buy a Chick-fil-A and put it in my house.
See.
And have a personal trainer so I don't gain another 300 pounds. Because that is what will happen if there's ever one in this town.
No, we're getting some answers, some interesting
So that is what I would do.
answers.
Yeah.
But
it takes me back to Super Troopers when Farva and I think Thorny, they were sitting discussing what would you do with $10 million. And you can't say buy the Cleveland Cavaliers. But anyhow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. So that's what I would do. Put a Chick-fil-A in my house. Probably I'd have a new house, obviously, because I'd have to I can't retrofit my current estate to fit a Chick-fil-A in there. Because I don't want just your run-of-the-mill shopping mall food court Chick-fil-A. I want the entire thing. Like, I want the service. I want everybody saying my pleasure after they give me my food. I say thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't
Thank you,
go
my
build
pleasure.
acre, whatever. I'd just do whatever. I mean, be smart about it. Go to games. Take a trip. Take a crazy trip once a year. Bigfoot hunting would be on the list. I would be out with Bigfooters somewhere along the line. There's a bucket list of things to do if you win this much. Work would not be one of them, except radio.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would still actually probably work here.
Yeah.
Like, full time. I would dump off one of my responsibilities in a heartbeat. I mean, the rest of it I'd keep. I like it. I like the stress.
I just would go.
I like that.
Just have do this. I don't. And then the state couldn't mess with my pension and be like, okay, whatever.
Chick-fil-A.
Why can't
I'm going there
Chick-fil-A
Tuesday
come
night.
here? Waiting for something like a Chick-fil-A kind of thing.
Yeah.
Olive Garden
We'll get
or
there. I don't want to buy any of those. That's
we need something else. Boy, Starbucks would be good. Dunkin'
I'm just
Donuts.
hungry in general.
In-
There we go.
in town.
So that'll take care of that. Wow, we went on for a while. This is Saturday Sports Show presented by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
We'll talk the 60th annual Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament with TR coming up after the break. Back after these.
Don't just dream about a better job. Go get it with scores of programs that take 2 years, 1 year, or even just a few months to complete. Rend Lake College is your gateway to a career you'll love. From nursing to coal mining, from computer programming to cosmetology, and everything in between. Rend Lake College is affordable, convenient, and ready to get you trained for your new job fast. Call us at 618-437-5321 or visit us at rlc.edu.
Here's Jeff Schmidt for Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon.
Business is really good. The new Silverado is selling very well. We're very pleased. It's a remarkable truck. It absolutely blows away the competition. The Dodge Ram and the Ford F-150 do not compare with this new truck. It's beautiful. It's laid out well. The seats are very comfortable. There is no other truck on the market that compares with the new Silverado.
Schmidt Chevrolet of Mount Vernon, 3423 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
The health of your kidneys has a big impact on your overall health, affecting everything from your blood pressure to your bones. And if you ever have a kidney problem, Dr. Kangura is here to help. Dr. Kangura trained at the Mayo Clinic and specializes in conditions ranging from kidney stones and uncontrolled high blood pressure to chronic kidney disease. Dr. Kangura sees patients at Crossroads Specialty Clinic. For an appointment, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXSports.com. It's powered by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
Yeah, it's what healthcare should be.
There you go. Cared for by Crossroads. We appreciate them. We appreciate our next guest for taking the time to join us on a busy morning. He is the athletic director at Wayne City High School. He's Tony Richardson. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going, guys?
Going pretty well. Things obviously starting to really pick up for you. The Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament gets underway officially in about 51 minutes. Of course, the schedule change due to one of the school's homecomings means that you start at 10 o'clock today with Thompsonville and ZR. And as always, this looks like a really competitive field and a really well-scheduled event.
Yes, we've got several teams that are really going to be competitive. In the past, sometimes you look and say, hey, these teams here is going to be the favorites. And this year you could probably look and say there's probably 6 or 7 teams that have a legitimate chance to win. So we're expecting a lot of good basketball. As far as today's games, we've had a couple of our northern schools recently call and just cancel on us about 30 minutes ago. So our 11:30 game, which would be Clay City versus Patoka, and our 2:30 game, which is going to be Patoka versus Edwards County, has been canceled for today.
Okay.
So we're going to play our 10 o'clock game, our 4 o'clock game, and 5:30 game. And we're still trying to complete our junior high tournaments, and so we're going to have a consolation semifinal game at noon, and our semifinal winners bracket game, which will be Blueford and Wayne City, at 1:15, and we're going to go ahead and play those in the high school, and we're still going to have 5 games in the high school today.
Is there anything else that you could have going on at one time right now?
No, it's a little stressful right now, especially the last 30 minutes trying to figure out how we're going to put the other canceled games in during the week. So, but we're getting close. So.
60 years of the Conrad Allen. It doesn't seem so, but man, one of the longest running small school holiday tournaments in the state. Just keeps getting better and better every year as far as it goes.
Yeah, it's a good tournament. It was started 60 years ago by Conrad Allen, and he started it to try to allow for schools, preferably around 200 kids and less, to have a competitive tournament. And when it started, it was a 16-team field. Many of those schools are no longer schools. They've consolidated, and it was a tournament designed just for when we had one class basketball to allow for small school competitive basketball, and we try to keep that tradition by trying to limit the size of the school. And it's a really enjoyable tournament, especially for the small schools.
You've coached in it. You've had kids, kids that have played there and everything else in this tournament. What does it mean to the players that put on that Wayne City jersey this afternoon, tonight, this week, as far as playing in that Conrad Allen? What does it mean to everybody?
Yeah, it's definitely a tradition. It's something that we take pride in, and as I said, used to that they really didn't care how we did during the year, just as long as we did well in our Conrad Allen tournament, and that was basically how our season used to be based on, is how we did in that tournament. And so it's definitely a tradition, and definitely something that our kids want to do well in and represent our town.
This tournament kicks off today. As far as trying to get the games in, missed, and whatnot, and the juggling of schedule, what's going to happen there, if anything?
Well, as I said earlier, our 11:30 game and our 2:30 game has been canceled, and we're looking at possibly playing maybe Thursday at 4 o'clock, maybe a 4 o'clock game, and maybe a late game on Friday night. But we're still looking at that. We haven't had a really good chance to look at that yet, trying to get our facilities ready with the little bit of flush that we had this morning and last night, and so trying to get officials called and canceled on certain games that's been canceled. So it's been kind of hectic, so we haven't really got a chance to look where we're going to place those games at real close yet.
Well, and of course, Tony, I know you're busy today with all of the tournaments going on, so we'll get right to our WMIX Sports social media question of the week. And of course, this week we're asking, with the Mega Millions jackpot hitting eclipsing the $550 million mark, we want to know what Tony Richardson would do if he won that jackpot.
How much is that again?
A little over $550 million.
Our school is we're in need of a new school, so one of those things I'd probably help build us a new school that we're trying to build, and our gym would probably be much bigger, so we'll try to host some sectionals and things like that, and I could probably just become a full-time athletic director and just not have to worry about teaching all day long. So that's probably what I would do with that, I guess.
That's very noble, TR. Very noble. Of course, it sounds like you have a headache already today with the postponement of your 11:30 and 2:30 games, but we wish you the best of luck not only with today's games, but the entire 60th annual Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
That's Tony Richardson, athletic director at Wayne City High School, all-around good guy. And, with the 11:30 Clay City Patoka, 2:30 Patoka Edwards County games being postponed, he said they were going to move some junior high games into the high school gym, and I know we need to get to a break before we get to Jake Stewart, but that is just a nightmare scenario.
Well, when you get...
there's nothing you can do, but...
Yeah, and there's not a lot of weather going to happen. It's just a nightmare as far as...
But with... never mind, I won't go there.
It's...
not worth it.
Yeah.
So what we will do is we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk Harrisburg Lady Bulldog basketball with Jake Stewart, head coach. Coming up after the break. Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what healthcare should be.
Back after these.
I'm meteorologist John Fierk. Look at your next rad weather. You see snow pull away during the morning hours of Saturday. Mostly cloudy to high 36. Partly cloudy, cold tonight. Down to 19. Tomorrow, quite cold. Times of clouds and sunshine. The high just 25. A little bit milder for Monday. Some sunshine at the 36. A little bit better still Tuesday with some sun up to 41. Next rad weather from WMIX, Mount Vernon, Illinois.
Is your insurance deductible met? Do you have sleep apnea? Call the Medicine Shop Pharmacy to order a new mask or supplies for your CPAP or BiPAP before your deductible starts over next year. Our respiratory therapists will take the time to make sure your mask and supplies are a good fit for your needs. The Medicine Shop is also your #1 source for nebulizers and associated supplies. Here's pharmacist and pharmacy owner Eric Black.
We have 3 respiratory therapists full-time. That allows us, with our respiratory care, a great deal of flexibility to take care of everything from ventilator needs for infants down to simple nebulizer needs for a sick child, and everything in between: oxygen, CPAP, BiPAP therapy. Our respiratory therapists are wonderful, skilled at that.
We look forward to hearing from you. Give us a call. The Medicine Shop is a locally owned business run by local people. Happy holidays from the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, 2339 Broadway in Mount Vernon.
It's back. The award-winning WMIX Sports Basketball Showcase has the very best in high school basketball this winter, and Community First Bank is along for the ride. Hi, this is Terry Prosize, a Vice President from Community First Bank of the Heartland. WMIX and WMIXSports.com will have the best games involving the Woodlawn Cardinals, Weber Trojans, Waltonville Spartans, Cesar Red Devils, and the Wayne City Indians. Tune in to WMIX and WMIX Sports for the showcase presented by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking. Member FDIC.
And welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show. WMIX, WMIXSports.com.
Where'd that song go?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Sorry. Did it with something else in mind, of course, but
all right.
You know what, that happens.
Holiday music next week, aren't you?
I was thinking about it. As long as there's some Billy Squire involved.
That's fine.
We'll get it.
Mannheim Steamroller.
Yeah. Trans-Siberian
Michael
Orchestra,
Bublé.
probably. We'll see.
Gotta give me some Nat King
I was thinking
Cole.
about that. We don't have that many.
Bing Crosby.
Okay. I
All
think
right.
we've reached our 9 or whatever. Anyhow, we're proud to welcome one of our Twitter followers to the program. He follows us at WMIX Sports, so should you. He is Jake Stewart, the coach of Harrisburg Lady Bulldog basketball. Coach, good morning.
Good morning to you guys.
You know, we're glad to finally catch up with you here on the Saturday Sports Show. We appreciate all you do for high school athletics on the Twitterverse. And your Lady Bulldogs host their own tournament, get off to a nice start, finishing that up at 3-1. Only loss was a 1-point loss to the West Frankfort Lady Redbirds. And all in all, looks like things are starting the right way for Lady Bulldog basketball.
Yeah, we got off to a good start this season. Right now, we're setting 6-2. We lost to West Frankfort and Carterville, beat some good teams. But, so far we're happy with the start.
Happy with your start, and again, of course, you conference schedule. The Ohio division, very difficult, with the likes of Massac, Heron, yourself, Frankfort, Benton, Murphy over the years. This year, your pick or your favorite you see as maybe being a conference champ on that side?
It's wide open. I think anybody can beat anybody on any given night. Benton's good, Heron's good, Massac's really good. Murphy can beat people. West Frankfort can beat anybody. We'll have to win a conference championship, I think, and the River got to catch 2 breaks, so it'll have to happen. But, maybe Massac the favorite. They won it last year, losing 1 game. I think we were the only team to beat them in the conference last year, with a lot of people back. So, but tough conference, but it's always fun.
Like what you're doing down there in Harrisburg with this program, turning it around and making it a winner. And talk about some of the kids that you're relying on this year to help you get a lot of wins at Harrisburg.
My first year, before I took over, we were 4-24. My first year, we got 8 wins. We bumped it up, and last year we got 21. With that being said, the group of seniors I have now are, the reason that we were able to get this thing going. First and foremost, my senior guard, Ashley Farrell, she just scored a 1,000-point recently. She's been a huge part to our success. Lindsay Murray, she also is a 3-year starter. She's been a huge part. Hannah Jones, 3-year starter, huge part. And Melena Douglas, 3-year starter. I have 3 kids that's, this is their 3rd year starting. And, without them, it would have been impossible to get this thing going.
Murphy today at home before next week. This is one of the probably toughest stretch of your schedule. Carterville Thursday at home. Murphy at home today. Then you go to Benton Tuesday, Massac Thursday. It can't get any tougher for a program like yours right there in those 4 games, can it?
No, it can't. And what we've done is we have, besides the conference schedule, we've boosted up our non-conference schedule. DuQuoin's down a little bit this year. We go there Monday, actually, so we'll have DuQuoin on the road Monday, then have to travel to a very tough place to play, Benton, the next night. A long road trip, and you go to Benton the next night. You get prepared for Massac on Wednesday. You go all the way down there. Man, I really hate going down there. It's tough to get a win down there, but we'll go down there and try to get a win. But yeah, very tough stretch in our schedule right now.
Well, we can help you with Tuesday with hospitality. We can get on to Coach Sloan, tell him take care of you at Benton. But been many times in Massac County, saw several good teams down there get beaten, whatever sports. But you go into the Fairfield Holiday Tournament. That's a newer tournament that started up in recent years. That's a nice fit for your team to go up there and see some different competition as well.
Yeah, and that's what we want to do. We want to see some different teams. We play, I think, Christ our Rock Lutheran was in it, and Sandoval was in it last year. Something happened. They're not in it. So we play Nashville's JV, which, Nashville's Nashville. I'm sure there's any kind of program or team they put together is going to be really good and competitive. But we play them. We play Fairfield, who we dropped the game against to play them in the tournament, and we play Robinson. I don't know much about them, but Florida's on the other side, Carmine, Wayne City, and North Posey, Indiana. So, it's different teams, and it looks like it's going to be tough.
Of course, that'll bring us, I know you're busy, Coach, but that'll bring us to the infamous WMIX Sports social media question of the week. This week, with the Powerball, I should say the Mega Millions eclipsing the $550 million mark, we want to know what you would do with the jackpot.
Oh, well, first and foremost, I'd give a lot back to charity, and After that, I'd take my family somewhere, and I'd buy Duke basketball season tickets. Definitely.
I've been seeing that stuff tweeted by you on there. I was hoping that maybe you had gotten lost or somebody had gotten to your Twitter account. A Duke fan on top of that?
Duke fan. I see you guys tweet. Somebody tweets UK stuff, I think.
That's definitely not me.
That's me. That's me on this side of it. Yeah, that's me. Once in a while. Once in a while, Coach K has something good to say, and I do mean once in a while.
Yeah.
I know. It's all good fun, though, Coach. That's what we like to do.
Of course, Coach, we know you're a busy guy, but we appreciate you taking the time to join us here on the Saturday Sports Show. A great interview. We look forward to doing more over the not-too-distant future.
Sounds good. I thank you guys for having me. Have a good day.
You too. That's Jake Stewart, head coach, Harrisburg Lady Bulldogs. And as I said, just a guy that does a lot for high school sports on Twitter. Another one is our next guest, Mike Chamness. Actually, a lot of our guys do a great job with utilizing the Twitterverse to its maximum capacity to help promote high school sports. We need to take a break. You can follow us on Twitter at WMIX Sports. Saturday Sports Show, of course, is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. Our next guest, Mike Chamness, head coach of the Goreville Tournament champion, Anna Jonesboro Wildcats. He's coming after the break. It's more than a hospital.
This is your local State Farm agent, Tony Will. I want to thank Mount Vernon and the surrounding area for continuing to support us over the past 5 years. If you have never sat down with someone to go over your insurance program, let me invite you into our office. Let us show you what working with the industry leader, represented by a local agent, can do for you. I'm located just off 42nd Street. You can reach our office 24 hours a day at 242-1421 or on the web at tonywilt.com. Thanks again, and go Rams.
I couldn't resist. Last month's Ram Truck Month was so successful, I have decided to extend the only true truck month. Hi, Roy Schmidt, Ram dealer at King City Chrysler, Mount Vernon. You remember me telling you that the deals couldn't get any better, and it can't. That's why I'm glad to extend the opportunity for 0% financing for 72 months, plus $2,000 cash back on new 2013 Ram Quad Cabs and Crew Cabs with the Bighorn, Express, or Outdoorsman packages. 2014s are arriving daily, and we are ready to deal to help close out the 2013 model year. Take advantage of these amazing incentives. Come see one of our sales associates at King City Chrysler Center at 1603 Broadway in Mount Vernon, Illinois, or shop us online at kingcitychrysler.com. Find us on Facebook, and don't forget our new Express Lane fast oil changes and more for service without an appointment.
The sound of bouncing basketballs is heating up high school gymnasiums. Hi, this is Bria Ashby with Community First Bank of the Heartland. Hear all of the twine-tickling action on WMIX and watch at WMIXsports.com this winter. Mount Vernon Rams and Lady Rams basketball is in full swing. Find our broadcast schedule and live audio and video streaming at WMIXsports.com or listen to WMIX on game night. It's Rams and Lady Rams basketball powered by Community First Bank of the Heartland. Welcome back to Personal Banking.
And we welcome you back on the Saturday Sports Show, WMIX, WMIXsports.com. It's cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what health care should be.
That's the infamous Danny Zerwinski. I'm Chris Hugo. Glad to be with you until... Infamous is not a negative term. Just because on the spelling word list, when you learn vocabulary words in the 7th grade, it says it's negative. It doesn't have to be. Infamous can be good. It's kind of like how there's bad stress called distress and eustress, which is allegedly positive stress. You know what I'm saying? I guess the U is short for euphoria. I never figured that out. But anyhow, what I have figured out is that the Anna Jonesboro Wildcats are champions of the Goreville Invitational Tournament. We welcome the head coach, Mike Chamness. Coach, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
You know what, doing pretty good. All week, of course, from D.C., we had heard about how it was tough for AJ to win games at Goreville. Now you win the entire tournament. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good. Anytime you can come out of a tournament going 3-1, you got to feel good about yourself. And we put together a pretty good 2 weeks, I guess it was.
Good 2 weeks, a long 2 weeks, obviously, making the trips to Goreville, but a game gets canceled last night in Nashville. Where does that stand, and as far as your team for the rest before you go into the El Dorado Holiday Tournament?
Well, yeah, we've got pretty tough next week ahead. We play at Cobbin tonight, and then next week our game against Nashville is rescheduled for Tuesday. So next week we go to Nashville Tuesday. We've got Carterville at home Friday, and then Massac at home Saturday. So that's about as tough a week as you could probably get here in Southern Illinois.
the coaching pantheon of names at Goreville. Todd Tripp, Wade Thomas, Ron Weinmiller, and Coach Mandrill at Egyptian, and yourself. I mean, a lot of X's and O's, a lot of good teams. To come out of there 3-1, you beat Goreville at home. You got Benton. You got some very good wins down there when you're at Goreville winning that championship.
Yeah, we losing the first game of the tournament to Goreville in double overtime by a point was tough. But our kids responded, came out and beat Egyptian the next night, and then had some days off. Had about 6 days off with the snow and everything, and came back and played Johnson City on Monday. And that we knew that they'd be very well prepared, very well coached, and we beat them on Monday, and then came back Wednesday, and knew that we had a chance to win the tournament, but we had to win, and took care of Benton. We were up, I think 16 with about 3:50 to go, and ended up winning by 4. So, we barely hung on to that one.
And go in, as you mentioned, your schedule in the Mississippi Division, a lot of hype for Nashville this year. But one of the things, too, is your team kind of making a run in there as Pinckneyville in a very tough division this year. Is there a team or a favorite that you see as picking and being a favorite to win that Mississippi Division?
Well, I think, Nashville is always tough. I've seen Carterville play a couple times, and they've got 5 really good players, really smart players, hard to guard players. And then Pinckneyville, Coach Wagner does such a good job. I think every year you hear people talk about, Pinckneyville's going to be down, and every year they win 20 games, and they win 7 or 8 games in the conference. Coach Wagner, you got to, kind of tip your hat to him. He always has them well prepared. And I saw DuQuoin last night, and they're young, but Coach Wheeler does a lot of good things with them, and they're going to get better as the season gets on, and we've been through those growing pains before, where you're just young and you're just physically not there yet, but they'll get there. I haven't seen Sparta yet, but they're 5-1 now, I guess. They won the Trico tournament, so top to bottom, it's a pretty tough conference, and every night you got to be willing, or you got to be ready to play your A game, or you're going to get beat.
And getting beat, not going to happen for a while, probably for your team, as good as you're off to a good start. El Dorado Holiday Tournament, you get the El Dorado Eagles out of the gate in one of the later games of the evening. You stay out of that morning bracket where you have the possibility of playing 2 in one day, but that's a nice start, even though you got to play the home team. That's a good draw for your team in the first round of that tournament.
Yeah, I thought we'd be somewhere around the 6th seed, and that's what we were with 6. And last year we played El Dorado first round, and we were able to beat them. They've got a lot of kids back. Of course, we've got everybody back, so should be a good game. I got to meet Coach Clark the other day at the seed meeting. I had never met him before, and seems like a nice guy. I haven't seen them play yet, but we're looking. You get to play El Dorado, you play in that primetime game, and then you win, and the next night you play at 8:30 again, so you stay away from the morning. We like our draw.
Looking at this year, a lot of teams are struggling. We were talking earlier on the show, the Red Devils at Sassafras 1 game. Several teams are battling, trying to get 2 or 3 games in. Woodlawn has 3 games in right now, looking for another. Your teams have been able to get most of their games in, lost one last night, but we'll get it in. I mean, how are you dealing with trying to get around these snow days and cancellations and everything with your team in this season?
Yeah, our varsity team's gotten pretty much everything in, with the exception of last night, which has been rescheduled. But, our JV team hasn't played yet. Their first game was supposed to be last night, and they'll get to play tonight. But our freshman team has only played 1 game, which they're playing this morning at Murfreesboro. But they've had, 3 snowed out. They've had a couple that have been postponed or moved to different dates for various reasons. So it's tough for the younger guys that have just been practicing, not getting to play. But, hopefully this snow kind of subsides and they get to play some games because, they're kids and they want to have fun and play.
Of course, Coach, I know you have sort of a busy day today, obviously a lot going on, of course, with your game tonight. That'll bring us to the WMIX Sports Social Media Question of the Week. And this week we're asking everyone, with the Mega Millions jackpot eclipsing the $550 million mark, we want to know what Mike Chamness would do with that money.
What I would do with that money?
Hopefully you're going to buy Alexander's in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd buy everybody Alexander's in March. No, I would probably pay off my wife and I's debt as far as college loans and house and cars and all that good stuff. And then that's a good question. I don't know what I would do with the rest of it.
There was a lot of gamesmanship going on this week. I talked to Coach Weimiller and I said, so the winner of this Benton AJ game, the loser has to buy Alexander's for the whole crew that went last year. I said, is this how this works or what's going on? He said that there was a lot of gamesmanship going on before that game as far as, buying dinner and whatnot. Is that true, what was going on?
Yeah, well, I told him before the game that you had asked me that, and I said, I don't know how much Ronnie eats. That may be unfair, but no, I don't know. Hey, we won, so he's got to pay up.
Exactly. Don't forget, we will not forget this come March when we're all sitting around the same area getting ready to load up and go, okay, Ron, you lost. You got to buy for everybody,
Yep, that sounds good to me.
Okay.
I think we'll take it.
Yeah, we will.
Yep.
No doubt about that. Coach, obviously the best of luck to the Wildcats. Hopefully if we're in Peoria together, maybe it's because the Wildcats are up there, of course, playing for a state trophy, but regardless, we look forward to catching up with you along the way, and best of luck to AJ.
Thank you, guys.
That is Mike Chamness, of course, a great dude. Got to meet him last year in Peoria for the first time. I know UDC have known him for quite a while, but just an all-around great guy, and though we think the world of, I guess, every coach in the Yorville Invitational Tournament, we consider them all to be great friends of the program. Good to see a good guy get a tournament championship there.
Got off to a good start. Goes 3-1 to start. Had that tough loss to Goreville. We'll hear about that in March. But that's a team I think is going to surprise a lot of people. He knows what he's doing. He's got a good thing going down there, getting some talent, and all those things are starting to come together to put AJ basketball back on the map. Have not been to state tournament since 1985 when Brian Urey led that team to Champaign to Elite 8 after beating DuQuoin in the Super. But more known for football down there, and AJ obviously, but boy, man, if they get the boys basketball side going, they'll go along with that strong baseball program. They'd have something back in the realm again at AJ. And what an interesting gym to go down to. Alumni Hall. It's a very interesting gym to go to.
Is it pathetic or pitiful that I've actually not been to the gym?
Little setup, little different.
I've been to the pit, or what they call the pit. I've been there, been up in the press box.
Yeah.
That's actually the night that I was down there with you guys was the night that my broadcast career began.
That was
unofficially.
We didn't know it at the time.
No, but it was on the way home that kind of set things in motion.
But within hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, how it had to happen.
But it was.
But looking back now and how it's affected my life, I'm very glad that it did. Although I don't like how the circumstances prevailed. So that was Mike Chamness. That was a loaded lineup we just ran through here on the Saturday Sports Show. I felt. I don't know if anybody caught the thought that was put into the guest list and the order of it, but boys coach, girls coach, boys coach, girls coach, boys coach, because we like to talk both genders. And some cancellations today. Obviously, congratulations go to the Mount Vernon Rams wrestling team. They did beat West Frankfort the other night at home on Thursday night. They will obviously not making the trek to Springfield Southeast today due to the weather. The Nashville girls freshman tournament is off today that the Lady Rams are supposed to go to. Rams freshman basketball today is also off. The South 7 Conference tournament at Newbold Lanes is off today because I was going to try to get a late invitation out to Dave Wagner to talk about that, but unfortunately that was canceled or postponed. So definitely some mom nature effects today. I believe Oakville Columbia girls basketball is off today. Centralia Cahokia girls basketball has now been called off for today. So still some cancellations coming in. Don't fear if you're an Orphans fan. The Orphans and Muscuda game, I believe it is tonight at the arena, is on. So that will take place. But our games will take place. Of course, we'll tell you what our coverage plan is after the break. I believe we have one more break left to take here on the Saturday Sports Show. We'll do that now. The Saturday Sports Show is cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
That's what health care should be.
Back after these.
I love this time of year. It's a time that we reflect on the blessings of the year and the friends and relationships we've developed. It's a time that we're able to give thanks to those in our lives who we serve and who trust us to serve them. It's a time where we spend important time with our family and friends, enjoying the feel of the season. During this time, there are more smiles and more thank yous and a general feeling of kindness and generosity that is not present as often during the rest of the year. For unto us is born this day in the city of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord. From all of us at Community First Bank, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
This is Chase Landers with Landers Collision Centers. Imagine this. You're driving down the road. It's dark as can be outside. Thank goodness you just had that left headlight bulb replaced. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see a thing. Now, close your eyes. Okay, don't close your eyes. You're supposed to be driving. Imagine noticing a slight twinkle off to the left. just above the ditch. What is that, you think to yourself? All of a sudden, whap! You've just encountered your first deer hit. The left side of your vehicle is beat up pretty bad. The next thing I want you to imagine is very simple. Picking up your phone and dialing 1-888-LANDERS to set up your repair. Deer claims are common, and usually a very simple process, which fall under comprehensive coverage. This is Chase Landers asking you to allow Landers to be your collision repair shop of choice. Whether it be a deer hit, fender bender, or the regular, uh-oh, sorry mom, Landers is here for you whenever you need us. Big or small, Landers fixes them all. 1-888-LANDERS, that's 1-888-LANDERS.
A digestive problem can affect every area of your life. But now there's a specialist right here in town who focuses on digestive health. Mayo Clinic trained Dr. Tegpal Atwal has opened the only gastroenterology clinic in Mount Vernon. Dr. Atwal treats acid reflux, gallbladder problems, inflammatory bowel disease, ulcers, and more. For your appointment with Dr. Atwal at Crossroads Specialty Clinic, call 618-241-9071.
And we welcome you back to the Saturday Sports Show on WMIX and WMIXSports.com here until 10 o'clock. Cared for by Crossroads Community Hospital. It's more than a hospital.
It's what health care should be.
Starting to see holiday tournament pairings roll out for boys and girls high school basketball, of course. We had Effingham/T-Town in our pocket for quite a few weeks before releasing them, of course, on Facebook and social media earlier this week. But it's a 6-team, 2-pool tournament played on Friday the 27th and Saturday the 28th. We'll talk more about it with Scott Gamber next week on the Saturday Sports Show. Already have had a team change. Chicago Robeson is out. Al Raby out of Chicago is in. They will just take that spot in that pool. Al Raby.
Is that one person or a team?
I'm not sure. Could just be one guy they named a school after. Two. Could be that.
Okay.
But yeah, Al space Raby. Spelled like the Benton Raby. Except Al. So you have Effingham, Mattoon, and Al Raby in one pool, and then you have T-Town, or no, Effingham, Charleston, and Raby in one pool, and then Mount Vernon, T-Town, and Mattoon in the other. The Rams will play at 2 p.m. at T-Town against T-Town, and then head over to Effingham at 6 to catch the Green Wave. And then on Saturday, they'll have the morning session off, and then Saturday night they'll play in whichever trophy game. The trophy games get started at Effingham at 5 p.m. So that's how that tournament works out. You can find a full list of the pairings on our Facebook page at WMIX Sports. But we also got the Sesser pairings this week. We are excited about that because everything will work out to where WMIX can do every Woodlawn and Waltonville game from the SV Holiday Tournament. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often for us.
No, it doesn't
work out like that, and we're very happy to be able to be at SV. And we're going to be there at SV today. We'll be at SV Monday. We're doing SV Lady Girls basketball game on Thursday at ZRC. So looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, should be a good time. Should be good holidays for us. And, of course, the Heron Girls Tournament. Pairings were released. The Lady Rams at Mascuda, that was released this week. I neglected
26-11:30 against Belleville East.
And I neglected to ask Lana how he feels about playing Belleville East for what feels like the 50th consecutive year. And it may not be. It may not even be close. And it may not even be consecutive. It just feels that way.
Interesting.
Lady Rams used to play Belleville East in the regular season all the time, too.
If you got $3,000, this is all totally off topic.
Have how much?
If you have $3,000, you can bid on original dugout end of the Mariners bench from the Kingdom. Somebody's got it for
really?
sale. Yeah, on eBay.
Kingdom?
Yep.
I'd take that.
Yep. So, anyway.
Nintendo?
You have Conrad Allen starting today.
Uh-huh.
You have a week off, then some handful of days. Then you have this gluttony of tournaments on the 26th, 27th, 28th, and 30th. I don't think anybody will go on the 31st, obviously, unless Mother Nature speaks. And then that odd finagling of the calendar where some schools will go back to 2nd. Some don't go back till the 6th of January. Some teams will play on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Others won't. I mean, you want to talk about some odd scheduling and the teams that are hurt. A lot of people think of the varsity teams. Think of this.
JV.
Woodlawn boys basketball has been practicing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks now. This will be week 6. Their JV team will take the floor for the first time Tuesday at home. Now, you want to talk about JV and freshman teams like Coach Chambliss was talking about and everything. Guys that practice, get the early morning hours or the late hours, and they don't get gym priority at a lot of places. They're not even to a game yet. SV, the Devils, we'll see their people today when we go down and do the Lady Devils game against Hamilton County. Their boys team, 1 game. I mean, it's one of those where, like I figured out a while ago, Mount Vernon will play 2 games in 16 days, and they're going to play 3 in 5 days this week. And a lot of people are going to go on the NBA route here in the next month or so.
This is where your conditioning pays off. And, I mean, there's one thing to be in practice shape and in practice condition. It's an entirely different thing to have to go full force for 4 quarters or however long you're in the game. And then to do that multiple times in the same week when you've gone, we're using the Rams as an example just because I did the date calculations in my head earlier. But to go 1 game in 16 days, as you just said, 3 and 5, and then you go into next week where you'll play 3 games in 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's tough to pull
and
off.
Mount Vernon's going to go on a bus and go to Cahokia on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday off, Marion at home. Friday to Waterloo. That's not a short trip, even though it's an earlier start. Waterloo's always a good trip because we like going over there. Another nice.
I love Waterloo.
Between going to I'm telling you what, the tour of Mascoutah
Give me a 4-sided Waterloo.
And the tour of Waterloo I've had in the past, those are 2 well-built high schools. DuQuoin's very nice. Carterville, I've had a tour of it. Excellent. Hamilton County. Boy, a lot of nice new schools going around.
Tell you what, I would like a 4-sided Waterloo. I would love that. Or a hybrid of like a Heron Pinckneyville Trico with a Waterloo, a hybrid, a combination.
I still enjoy the bowl seating. Dig a hole, put the gym in, have a walkway with some bleachers.
And then if you want to modernize it with like the Waterloo type,
Yep.
is exactly what I'm saying. Just don't put me courtside. It makes me paranoid.
Yeah.
Unless it's a big arena.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to build a new gym or new school, hint, don't forget there will be media there covering games.
Ooh.
And you have to remember to find a place to help the media out. Don't leave that out of the plans.
And we're not just saying that because of radio broadcasts or video streaming or things like that, but you got to take care of your print brethren. You'll have photogs there wanting to roam.
2 gyms.
I mean, you need to take care of all of your sports.
And I liked what Mascoutah did with theirs. Their top bleachers can shove in.
Yeah.
And you can have wrestling behind the bleachers. That's kind of you don't hear a lot of noise.
It's almost like
you can
an
have
accordion.
dance on the other side behind the bleachers, or you can have practice cheerleading or whatever.
Well, they had the
over
wrestling mats behind one side.
Because you would not make math teachers and English teachers divide a room in half and work together. Don't make coaches of sports teams divide the gyms in half and then try to do their thing. Don't make them do that.
Doesn't work very well.
No.
I'll tell you a school that actually thought that out very well. Effingham.
I like
thought that out very well.
Did, yeah.
I'm not as huge of a fan of the main gym. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Effingham's big old gym that they have, their main gym, where they go straight, the bleachers go on for like eternity on both sides. You can get away with that as a 2-sided gym because it's tall enough bleachers, enough seats. But I'm not a big fan of 2 sides. I need 4. I don't like 3 sides. I need 4. I need bleachers and seats on all sides.
No, because to me, as far as gyms that have aged a little bit and are no longer in use, Trout Gym would have been perfect with 4 sides. As far as gyms built in that era.
You know a gym that doesn't waste a lot of space but is very multifaceted? Rich Heron Gymnasium. Built in the 70s.
They had the right idea, just a construction mishap.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, that's pretty well the mold that should have been broken for.
Because you got permanent seats on the top. But your ability to push it back to have running, track, baseball, softball, wrestling, practice. I mean, that ability there, it's a pretty good deal. I like it's an older gym, but that's one that modeled out pretty well.
Right. And I think, in like the CHS arena, gyms like that in McLeansboro, gyms like that had the right idea. But where they get you and they have to have some sort of barrier up there. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. The glass.
But, yeah, the glass is fine. The glass is great. It's just whatever you have to do to keep the glass together at the top. That protective element up there. And so you can't see through that. I mean, if you're in the first few rows, it's okay. But once you get like towards the middle rows, up at the top, you're fine. But yeah, that's the only thing I know. And I know, when you go and look at new gymnasiums, there's going to be quite a few school constructions eventually over the next few years. But I know people in smaller towns and people in a lot of towns are worried about losing what they call an atmosphere. And there's folks that feel like Centralia has lost their atmosphere. The atmosphere is only as good as the effort the fans and players and coaches and everybody puts into it. And closeness or not, if you're there, you're jacked, you're excited. The pep band is going, the game is close, the game is exciting. There's no topping that regardless of where you are. All a confined space it does is make it louder. There are things you can do to improve that.
Must be a little more snow to the west. I see a lot of schools canceling practice or games on Twitter today.
Yeah, I think it's shifted to the north a lot. Like I know Effingham, I have a picture from up there where they got quite a bit. So I think it just kind of shifted a little bit. We certainly did not get what it was made out to be down here. But that happens. And, there's a lot going on right now, so schedules are going to be kind of condensed.
I mean, you look at Tony Richardson at Wayne City. Not only is he the AD at the high school, but he's the AD at the grade school. He's got a grade school tournament that should have finished last week, didn't. It's been a week now. They're trying to get it finished up, and then he's got a high school tournament starting today with 4 teams that won't show up. So, his job, I'm telling you what, time he gets done, he's going to be one tired man.
Yeah, and it's going to be a long week, and, now you have to figure out a way to get the Clay City, Patoka Edwards County games made up. And I understand what they had to do there. They had to put the Patoka games as they did. That's the school district trying to cut down on travel. But when that school district can't come, now you are in a huge, huge, huge bind. So you got to figure out a way to get both of those games made up. And, since you're playing during the week, it's going to be next to impossible unless they're willing or their school is willing. But it's going to be tough when you have Wayne City School in session. You can't go 2:30, 4, 5:30 on a weekday.
Hey, kids, PE, we're going to sit and watch a game. Basketball class. I don't know what you do. And here's the thing, each school is set up so different. You go to school A, they're going to play and practice at the coaches and traveling discretion. You go to school B, if you don't have school, you can't play, but you can practice. You go to school C, if you can't go to school, you don't play, you don't practice. If you're a home game and you're sitting waiting for a team to come down, if that team says, hey, we're not coming, the roads are too bad, home team's out of game, you're just out of luck, you don't get to play. Every school is so different on things that there's not a mandated policy, and that kind of makes athletic directors kind of scratch, go through this of putting together games, tournaments, reschedules, referees. Will referees travel? Will school personnel travel? If you have to open up a gym on a Saturday for a makeup game, as an administrator, you're paying time and a half. You're paying extra money for workers to come in and take money to sell concessions, janitorial service to clean up the gym to get it ready for school on Monday. There's all kinds of factors that play into this. Bus drivers who don't want to drive in this. I mean, lots and lots of things.
Yeah, because lest we could forget, you could want to go ahead and have a game, and you could go ahead and both schools want to go.
Yep.
Parents are okay. Administration's okay.
And the bus driver.
By gosh, the bus company says no.
You're out.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
I mean, everybody thinks it's just, for the fans. But, you get everything lined up, and you got to get both schools, both administrators, both coaches, referees, personnel to work, and you said bus drivers. And if the bus service, like you said, says we're not driving, or the school says we don't want to put our bus drivers in harm's way, you're not going. There's not going to be a game.
Right. And here's the bad thing, and where I feel for the Conrad Allen Holiday Tournament every year, is there's always a revision on that first Saturday. And whether it's, this time it was initially revised because of ZR's homecoming, so they gave them the 10 o'clock game to get them in, get them out so they could go to their dance and whatnot and have their hoopla tonight. But it seems like they always have to do some sort of revision. It's a tough job, and I certainly don't envy what Tony Richardson has to do, but by gosh, Wayne City does a great job of doing what they have to do to get that tournament in.
And I think when you have the format that Wayne City has, where you're going to have multiple days, 4 games to 3 games a night, and you're dealing with so many teams, they take a night off, they play, it lasts a week, you are setting your, again, it's a great job they do, but it's a lot of, you open yourself up more. The more teams you have, the longer the tournament goes because of weather, homecomings, and other such issues.
Well, and I hate to say this, but is it since there's seems to be issue with always the first Saturday? Is it going to be a case where eventually they may have to look at playing more games on the back end?
You might have to play 2 in one day.
Yeah,
might have. I mean, it may be a case that Conrad Allen doesn't finish next Friday or Saturday, whenever it is. You have to go to the next week. You have to go to the 22nd, 23rd. 23rd, I guess, would be on a Monday. You may have to play it on 26th. But then again, that's what I said. It's so many things that go on.
Yeah, and that's a nightmare situation that was created today, and I hate that for them. And yeah, of course, initially that was supposed to be a Townsville ZR game at 1:30 to kind of give a little bit of a break to Clay City, Patoka, or I should say Patoka, who had to play Clay City and then Edwards County. Granted, they were going to have the break regardless, as they didn't replace that 1 o'clock game or shift games around, which I like what they did there. They kept it normal for every other team involved. But all in all, it's a tough position to be in, and I certainly don't envy any athletic director or school administrator right now at all. I don't know about you.
No. There's some things that you
know what?
want.
People want to complain about the price we pay for administration. But when you get good...
wait till snow days happen.
When you get good ones, they're worth their weight in gold.
Hey, wait till those decisions of are we going to go on a snow day or not, and that's when I talk about the monkey see, monkey do factor comes in because hey, what are you doing over here? Well, what are you doing over here? Well, if School A's not going, we're not going because we're right next to them. So if we go and they don't, that makes us look bad,
right?
Or whatever.
In a litigious society, that's a tough decision you have to make,
right?
And nobody wants to go to school until July 3rd and ring in Independence Day and let freedom ring in school. But, if your winter's bad enough, you're going to have to deal with that.
Well, I mean, that's – and again, that's what I said. You're looking at – today is December 14th. And the last 2 years, I don't think we at Woodlawn Grade School used a snow day. Maybe one. But there's some schools that have blown like anywhere from 3 to 6 snow days already.
Sure.
And this is December 14th. And we still got January and February. And according to our weather friend over west – it's going to get one more shot.
There is one southeastern Illinois county school system that has not seen school since midday on December the 5th when this initial storm rolled in.
Mm-hmm.
They have not been back.
Right.
And there's no guarantee they're getting back on Monday.
Blow through those days, you don't have to make them up.
There's no guarantee the Cougars are going back Monday.
No.
They might. There's no guarantee. And it's just tough. And it's just a tough predicament to be in, obviously. And again, we don't envy anybody that has to be put through it. Our coverage for today, though, we have a doubleheader. Huh?
We look forward to this.
What? Snow days?
Coverage.
We have the SVW Lady Devils and McLeansboro Lady Foxes, of course, on AM 940, WMIXsports.com. Interestingly enough, Clint Weinmiller's birthday, so happy birthday to Coach Weinmiller. We'll see him at the game. We'll also see good friend Coach Metcalf. Tonight, the Woodlawn Lady Cardinals will battle the Carmi White County Lady Bulldogs. That game is on 94.1 FM. It's a 1 o'clock JV start in Sesser. It's a 6:15 p.m. JV start in Woodlawn tonight. Then on Monday, we'll head back to Sesser, where the Wayne City Lady Indians will take on the Lady Devils. That'll be a 6:15 JV start. We'll have the pregame immediately following the JV contest. 94.1 FM. WMIXsports.com. Then on Tuesday, we'll have both sides of the dial full to the brim with basketball. The Lady Rams will be on AM 940 at Carbondale, audio only at WMIXsports.com. The Rams will head to Cahokia in a makeup game. That game will have video at WMIXsports.com, 94.1 FM after the 6:15 JV start. And then on, where are we at now, Wednesday?
Wednesday
what
is
sucks.
Wednesday.
What happened there? No day. No games yet.
It's still early.
Yeah. It is
Might
early.
have to, things get swapped around today over east. We may be doing something else.
That's true. Figure it out.
No,
Where are we at now, Thursday?
Thursday is at
we
ZRC.
Yep. For the Lady Devils at ZRC.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have that. That's 6:15 pregame, 94.1 FM. Friday, we do both sides of the dial again, as on AM 940, it'll be Woodlawn and Waltonville in the showcase. Audio at WMIXsports.com. The Mountford and Rams will host the Marion Wildcats. That'll be on 94.1 FM. Video at WMIXsports.com. Bad time for hiccups. And then the Mountford and Rams travel to Waterloo. They'll go to Monroe County for a 6 o'clock, I believe, JV start. Pregame.
I don't know. Is that earlier? I think it's a 5, isn't it? Maybe earlier?
Jersey's a 5.
Maybe 6. What does the schedule say behind you?
That's probably wrong.
It says 6 o'clock JV.
Given that I did it, it's probably way off. So there you go. That's how we're going to have that on Saturday, and then we'll take some time off over the holidays, get a Christmas party in, get some Christmas celebrations in, and honor the season, of course. Then on the 26th, basically, here's what we're going to do. We'll have all the Rams games from Effingham. It'll be on 94.1 FM, audio at WMIXsports.com. As of right now, no video from the Effingham T-Town Holiday Tournament, though we will still film for Coach Gamber, as we always do. And then at the Chesterfield Holiday Tournament, we'll have all Woodlawn and Waltonville games, AM 940, and then we'll play it by ear on Trophy Day on that Monday. So there you go. Those are our holiday plans for right now. Simple enough. If we like coverage, we try to do as much as we can. I feel like we're getting a good coverage in on the holidays. I don't know about you.
Well, to get the games in that we're going to get in, 3 from up there, and then, a lot from the SVW. That's important as well.
Well, coverage for your schools is important. And, of course, it's getting to be crunch time, and before you know it, we'll be into January, and before you know that, we'll be into midwinter tournament time, and that's probably the scariest aspect of it. And hopefully we'll have some games in by then.
You're already in midwinter tournament. Well, midwinter is starting in 3 weeks after that.
Yeah.
The calendar flops a little differently, so it's a busy time over the next few weeks. Busy but not busy because you get the layoff from the 22nd through the 26th, but you do have to get the holiday tournaments going.
Yeah.
Hope you can play them. Hopefully, snow will stay away and people get some games in.
Of course, next week, looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll talk plenty of the holiday tournaments coming up. You're sure to talk Centralia. We're sure to talk Effingham T-Town. We're sure to talk SV. We're sure to talk probably Modern Day. I'm sure we'll talk the Duster Thomas Hoops Classic in Pinckneyville. I know we talked about the Heron Tournament last year, the Bent Rangerette Christmas Classic, Collinsville, Freeburg, Columbia. I think I already said Modern Day. There's so much going on. I love talking holiday tournaments, of course, on the Saturday Sports Show, and then the Rams wrestling team will head to a holiday tournament as well. But that'll do it for us this week. We hope you enjoyed the program. Our social media question will remain on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Sports Show. We're back next week on WMIX Mount Vernon.